Hey, what's going on, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics again. Welcome back for another haul video. Hope everyone's doing well out there in the community. First off, just want to, again, big thank you to all my subscribers, everyone who's been watching and checking out the videos so far. Appreciate you guys, and please, spread the word. And if you aren't subscribed, if you're liking the books I'm showing off, please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit notifications. So this is just a small stack of books I picked up from one of my local shops, the shop I've been showing off pretty recently. I go in there weekly and usually come out of there with a pretty good stack. So this is a bit of a mixed bag here. A little bit of modern, a couple of silvers, some bronze. So it's a, like I said, kind of a mixed bag here. So first thing I'll show off here, we've got Marvel Age number 6, which I think I showed a couple of these off pretty recently. This was in the dollar bin there, and this has got a preview for Beta Ray Bill in the back. This is not in the best of shape, probably VF range, but I've been grabbing these when I find them. These Marvel Age books are pretty often found in the dollar bin. I know I see Comic Tom 101, they love highlighting these. There's quite a few, true first appearances in here. I know technically they don't count as first appearances, but there's probably a good half dozen or so of these books that have previews for, big characters' first appearances showing up, in main storylines. So happy to find another copy of that for $1. Also grabbed a classic, for me anyways, classic Jim Lee cover, X-Men number 4. This is the standalone X-Men series he did in the 90s. This is the first appearance of Omega Red. I love this cover. I really love the art Jim Lee did in this run. The first, I don't think he even made it into double digits on this series before he went off to Image. But this isn't in the best of shape either, but it was only a couple of bucks, so I picked up another copy. It's probably in the VF range. I'm curious if Omega Red will make his way into movies in the future. I know at the time he was a pretty cool, pretty hot villain. I remember reading it, and it was pretty awesome back then. But I really don't recall seeing them recently at all in books. So I'm curious if more modern villains are going to show up at all, or what they're going to do. I feel like they'll probably dive in with some more of the classics, but you never know. And it's great Jim Lee stuff, so definitely a cool book to pick up. It's a great cover. All right, this I had seen other people showing off. Again, I'm not so up to speed on a lot of the kind of modern stuff from the mid to late 90s up till about the 2010 range. But I've seen people showing this book off. This is Venom Sinner Takes All number 3. So this is the first full appearance and cover of She-Venom. It's got a Larry Hama story, and Greg Luzniak cover and art, and I'm probably butchering those names as I usually do. So this was priced really cheap. It was under $5, and I just knew I had recognized it, so I just grabbed a copy. I wasn't exactly positive what it was. I thought it was the first appearance of this character, so obviously anything Venom is super hot. Anything Venom, Carnage, with all the work Donny Cates is doing. Any of these kind of keys from the 90s there seem to really be shooting up in value. So I was glad to find it that cheap. I wish it was in better shape, but what do you do? It's cheap, so you can't complain. All right, I think I picked up another copy of this recently. I've been finding this quite a bit. Star Wars number 41. This is the first cameo appearance of Yoda. Of course, I absolutely love anything Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back, my favorite Star Wars movie. This was only a few bucks as well. Probably mid-grade, very fine range. Archie Goodwin story and a cool Millennium Falcon cover here. Al Williamson cover and art on the interiors. So I love this Star Wars run. I really am definitely trying to track down the entire run, and it is not cheap. Those later books are pricey in the shops. I mean, I see most stores selling those late in the run, the lower print run. Man, they're all like double digits. So pretty expensive to piece that run together, but happy to find another copy of that. Okay, and I have definitely jumped on the Atlas Comics bandwagon for speculation. I think I know I've seen a lot of channels talking about this. Honestly, I think I saw Daz the Key Chaser talking about it first in his hot comic book alerts, which I absolutely love. So thank you, Daz. So this shop had quite a few. I'm not buying them on eBay. A lot of these have shot up, and you're paying $15, $20 on eBay. I'm sure you can definitely, snipe them much cheaper. But I've just been digging through my local shops trying to find some of the number ones, some of the keys, aiming to spend $5 or less. So this shop had quite a few, so I was definitely happy with it. First one is the Cougar number one. Some of these actually pretty cool covers. I've been watching a lot of people talking about these, and I honestly have not read any of them. I know most of them only go like to issue number 3. I saw Neil Adams on a couple of these. This one is Steve Mitchell on the story. You got Frank Thorne art. So this is the first Cougar and his origin. I think it's like the part of the origin, and number 2 is the second half of the origin. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, happy to find that. And I picked up number 2 as well, which I think, like I said, yeah, I think that's the second half of the origin. So tough to know what's going to happen with any of these. I can't remember which studio bought the rights to these books, so you don't know which characters they may make. I'm honestly completely skeptical how well, how well these are going to be with source material that seems to be really kind of. I don't see a ton of great reviews on these books, so I'm curious to see how they can pull it off. But you never know. For a few bucks, it's definitely worth the buy if you find them. So I also grabbed. I kind of dug the horror ones a little more, so I grabbed this Tales of Evil number 1. I thought that was pretty cool. This has got, I'm not sure who's on this one. I didn't write that down, but still pretty cool. I definitely dig the horror stuff. But I got Tales of Evil number 3 featuring the Man Monster, which is the first appearance of the Man Monster. And that is Gary Friedrich and Rich Buckler art. So maybe that was on the first one as well. I'm not sure. It looks like they did a lot of work on a lot of these Atlas books. So that one seemed pretty cool to me. I definitely dug that cover. Like I said, the horror stuff, and there's a lot. They've got like every genre covered, I think, here. So, and a lot of it seems to be kind of rip-offs, honestly, of Marvel heroes. But again, if you're spending less than $5, it's a no-brainer for me. I mean, that's pretty cheap to get into something here. So, and the last one I grabbed, Tiger Man number 1. I honestly think this one looks a little odd. But this is the origin, the first appearance. This is probably in the very fine range. Gabriel Levy story and Gene Colan art. So not bad art, but the character design looks a little kind of funny to me there. But anyways, I'll probably give a couple of these a read and just see kind of just what they're all about. So, all right. Back to some Marvel and DC stuff here. Really glad to find a second copy of this. I just showed this off recently, but my other shop had a copy as well. So Marvel Superheroes presents number 20, Doctor Doom. Awesome Doctor Doom cover. I love this. This is Larry Lieber, story and art. I think this is a fantastic book to buy. Again, I think it was Chris and We Love Comics that I first saw mention this. It's the first solo Doom story. You know the Fantastic Four is going to show up in movies. How do you do the Fantastic Four without Doom? He's just the classic, quintessential Marvel villain. If you got the Fantastic Four, you got to have Doom. And I don't see this book going anywhere but up. Silver Age anyways. So again, if you're getting these things in the $10 to $20 range for decent shape, I think these are no-brainers. So I will grab multiple copies of this anytime I see it. It's an awesome cover. I absolutely love it. So glad to find that. I think it was, like about $10, and it's probably mid-grade. So I found 2 copies pretty cheap. So glad to have a second one of that. All right, actually grabbed another DC book that I typically don't grab, but again, this shop, they just have they put out so many, early Silver Age books, at least they have out now for Superman and Batman titles are just, you can't pass them up. So Action Comics 266, I typically don't buy anything Superman or Action Comics. I don't know what it is. I just don't have a huge interest in Superman. I think he's just too good, too powerful. I don't find it overly interesting. I much prefer darker characters that have issues. I find that a lot more interesting. And Superman's just, too good, too clean, I guess, for my taste. But still, nevertheless, 10-cent cover. It's actually a pretty cool cover. Supergirl on it as well. With Streaky, the Super Cat, and Crypto, the Super Dog. I think that is a pretty neat cover. And I think this one had an ad for Green Lantern #1 in the back. So again, it was pretty cheap. It's, very good range, but man, really cool book. Yeah, I was glad I picked that one up, even though I don't typically buy Action or Superman. If I'm getting early Silver Age cheap, I'm going to buy it no matter what it is. That is definitely cool to have. So, all right, last book. I've shown this off before as well. This is obviously a super hot book. These guys got multiple. Every time I go in there, they have another copy out. Let me know they have it. But the prices are, they've got one out now, and they've got it marked double what I paid for this one. Like I bought this one, they put another one out at twice as what I paid. So it's Thor 337, a newsstand copy, the first full appearance or the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill. Obviously, a huge amount of speculation. I think almost people seem pretty certain he's going to show up in the Guardians 3 movie. I think that's it anyways. It is a really awesome Walt Simonson cover. I honestly have never read any of these Thor books. I have a bunch of them. I've been able to buy a bunch of Bronze Age in this. This is late Bronze Age, so I've been able to buy a whole bunch of Thor really cheap, like in the dollar bin. So I'll probably go back and read some of these. I'm curious because so many people seem to love this character, and I just never read Thor growing up other than when he was in crossovers. So I am definitely curious to go back and read it, and I've got a lot of these books in this range. So glad to have a second copy. I'm curious to see what happens in the movie. I love the Guardians movies. I think they're hysterical. I love any of the Marvel stuff with the sarcastic humor, and putting Thor in with the Guardians, to me, I just think that's awesome. So that's probably the Marvel series I'm most psyched about in the future of the MCU, to see how that goes. So yeah, that is it, guys. As always, I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please like, subscribe, hit notifications. I'll be doing more of these, trying to do them at least once, hopefully twice a week. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and happy hunting to everyone out there.